Hello, how's it going? I was just posting on Instagram. Hi Margaret, hi Hannah, hi Tiffany, hi Rachel, hi Aisha, hi Sylvia. Welcome, welcome, how's it going? My glasses are filthy. How are you? You guys enjoying the fall weather? It's still kind of warm here. I love the watermelon. Hello, Hannah. I have this out because I just opened a new pack of blades, and these were given to me by Carolyn R. And I've been doing this, excuse me, writing down who gives me things, and I love this. I'm gonna write it on my box actually, which I couldn't get my blades in there. I like thinking about it every time, you know. This is, I always write new, you know, and then old. So I keep my old ones in here, and that's how I throw them away. First of like the video, nice. Hi Blair, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a bit. How's it going? So, if you're here, you like sewing menswear just like me. And boy, do I have the fitting journey for you guys. We're going to do a lot of fitting today. And I feel like this would warrant a second fitting for sure, but Michael's out of town. So we're going to go for wearable muslin. I'm not a big fan of wearable muslins, I will be honest, but I think I can get this pretty close. And I know it'll fit better than anything he's ever had before. So he's pretty tricky to fit. And I've never fit him before, I'm embarrassed to say. But I do have a bunch of fitting photos and video for you. And what I think I'll do is I'll do a lot of fitting, and then I'm going to cut, and I'm going to focus on cutting the pieces that have for plaid matching. And just so the stream doesn't get too long, at that point maybe I'll just end it, because the rest of the pieces will be like straightforward piece, like interfacing and little things like that. So that's my plan today. Yeah, and I mean, no hate to wearable muslins. I just think there's a lot of cases where I think you could have spent your time just finishing the fitting, so then you had only garments you really, really like, right? Because sometimes those wearable muslins, you don't even grab them, right? They're not that great. I have a couple of those. I'm not, you know, I'm not saying I don't have them either. And for his case, like, he's just not here, and he's tricky. I've always known he's asymmetrical. But the asymmetry is pretty significant. So I have a lot of photos of him. He was such a good sport. So this is before pinning. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, totally fine. Like, everybody does wearable muslins but me. I mean, I do them too. I shouldn't say that. I'm just saying, I encounter a lot of people who do it, and then they come to me later and they want me to help them fix their wearable muslin. You know, I have a hair in my eye now that I did that. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, not exactly. And I get so many people for pants, and I just think, I can't add fabric there. Like, you only have your seam allowance, you know. So anyway, I don't want this to be a discussion of, you can do wearable muslins, go for it. So this is my husband, Michael. Yes, if you haven't seen him before. Let's see. I don't know what I want to say. This is before pinning it, and I only put one sleeve on, and he has a t-shirt underneath, and I asked him, are you going to wear this over a t-shirt? He says, sometimes, sometimes not. And he was fine fitting this over a t-shirt. And so the button placket doesn't go to the end, and just because I wanted to utilize like some strips of scrap fabric in between cutting the pieces, and I knew it was going to be too short. So I know that looks weird. So yeah, great. I'm sorry I brought up the wearable muslin thing. It's totally fine if you guys do it. I'm doing it here, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not hating on it. Hey Beth, how's it going? One thing I want to call your attention to is where his shoulder point is from right to left. I don't think, can you see my mouse? You can, right? I don't think you can. So his right shoulder is significantly lower. You can really see it in the far right photo. Yeah, so I couldn't get it. There isn't a pleat. That makes me happy. Why did I had all this extra fabric right there? And I didn't like that. I was like, I don't like this pleat. So why do I have a, yeah, okay, cool, Aisha. Okay, well that makes me happy, April or Rachel. Why did mine didn't sew together there? So maybe I did something wrong. Well, good, because I was like, that is so weird. Why is it fitted with a pleat? And I was going to draft it out, so I'm glad to know that. I don't know why mine didn't sew there. The other thing, I posted a video, I think a couple days ago, about sewing this muslin. Just a really quick, like, this is what I cut and sewed for the muslin. Just so you, if you want, it's on Instagram and in the guild. And there are drop pockets for the sanders, so they drop from the yoke seam here at the chest, and I just left the hole there for the pocket so I could see what the position was like on Michael. I only did one sleeve. The cuff I did, and a little slit in the placket. Well, here, well, I have it here. I'll show you. Wait for you. And I didn't finish seams. I didn't do collar, whatever. I just did the muslin. So you can watch that little video if you're kind of like, I hate sewing muslins. There's too much work. It literally took me 5 minutes to sew this together, maybe 10 minutes. The one quirk I was kind of surprised by was that there was ease in the sleeve. And that sort of took me aback because I want to flat fell this, and there shouldn't be any ease in the sleeve, and I was kind of surprised. Like, ease in the sleeve is a great thing. Like, it gives you a lot of comfort. Mine's very sloppily put in there because I literally got to sewing. I was like, oh, there's ease in here, and I just hurriedly put it in. So I could have done a better job. No pleat. Okay. Why did I have that extra? That's so weird. Well, we'll check that. I didn't think I cut it bad. All right. What else do I want to say? So I'm going to see about drafting out the ease on the sleeve. You know, we can see this wrinkle pointing at his shoulder cap, so there's something there. The sleeve's kind of close fitting, to be honest. Michael's used to clothes, like, they're either a little too big or a little too small for him. He has broad shoulders. He was a fencer, you know, like, for probably 14 years. He even taught fencing. He's left-handed, but he fenced right-handed. He's also broken his collarbone when he was a kid. So I'm kind of curious which collarbone it was, like which side, because his left shoulder, wait, that's so weird. It's his right shoulder that's much lower, but that far right photo is deceptive. It's because the fabric of the sleeve on his left, in the back view, if you look at the back view, on his right arm, the shoulder looks higher than his other arm, and it's not. That's excess fabric. Because if you look at his front facing photo, you can see that his right shoulder is dropped. All right, so let's look at his video, his before video. I put this in slow motion so you could see it well. And I think videos are amazing for fitting. They help me a lot. They are usually the deciding factor. We can see, just look at the wrinkles. Just pay attention to wrinkles. That's what we're looking at. I don't know why mine has a back pleat. Look at the wrinkles. I'm going to need a mint. I can already tell. Okay. So this is his before video. And this is after pinning. So the neck is always in a really hard position for Michael. His head comes forward. His neck is positioned forward. So I have, yeah, he has tons of wrinkles. What are you talking about? Not his wrinkles. Stop it. So the middle two photos are the side view of his neck and shoulder. The top one is his right. The left one is when I added some fabric and put it in there. Hi, Michelle. How's it going? Oh, do you like being called Shelly? Hello, Shelly. How's it going? I've pinned out some excess in the back. I brought the neck forward completely, like I'm going like this. I can peek over. I don't think that, this is a collage of photos, so I can't actually move it. And then I really worked on his right shoulder there and armhole because he didn't have the sleeve there, which makes it a little easier to fit. And I think I also ended up, the middle top photo is the shoulder, right? If you look at the left photo, you can see I drew a line where I think the shoulder line should be, because this one's clearly pointing to his back. Oh, okay, great, Michelle. Yeah, I thought that was new. I thought you'd edited it. New phones, that's always an adventure. I also shortened it after these photos as well. Sleeve length was fine, except for like half a cuff width. So we're gonna do these changes now, some of which I'm still noodling on, and we're gonna get there together because this is a lot of changes to make. And even I get a little bit nervous when we're making such significant changes all at once. I think that the better thing to do is to fit your shoulders and your back. Nobody ever wants to fit the shoulders and back first. Fit your shoulders and your upper back first. Because I swear to you, if you only focus on your bust and then you go back to fix that, you're going to be fixing your bust again. Okay, so always focus on the shoulder. It's like the coat hanger. Your shoulders are the coat hanger, and it all hangs from there, right? Top down is the way you want to work. No, not necessarily. You just want to start at the top, and then you can work on some of those other areas, right? Yeah, so I do not want to echo that other fitting thing with that name, though, because I don't agree with most of that. So I'm going to just very clearly state that. All right. So here we have, this is that left shoulder, right? So I've pinned out a little bit here. I've drawn it in. I also cut away the armhole. So in that after pinning photo, the smaller size, because of his shoulders. I just wanted to show you the after pinning. Oh, you can't really see it, never mind. But I had trimmed away his underarm. I mean, and it doesn't matter, like, if you want to cut a size, if you're having a lot of significant changes and you want to cut a size smaller and re-muslin, go for it. I don't really care what size number or whatever the wearer will be in, whether it's me, my daughter, my husband, my mom, whatever. I know some folks really don't like starting in a certain size. I get it. We have a lot of emotional attachment to our bodies, right? Obviously. So 100% respect if you are just like, I've never been this size, I'm going to start with this size, right? Go for it or change. That's totally fine. Personally, I think once I fit this, it's going to be size Michael, and it doesn't matter. And I have all the stuff in front of me, so why not, right? And I don't have time to like cut another muslin for him since he was leaving town. So that's kind of my thinking when it comes to, oof, this is a lot of changes. That is not to say I have not told people, oh, please just cut 2 sizes lower. You're just going to have an easier time. Proportionally, it's a lot less work to cut and sew a muslin. I think that's the kind of thing you have to weigh. Is it less work to just cut and sew a new muslin in a different size, larger or smaller? Okay. So yeah. All right, so let's see here. So up here, I taped, I am desperate for pins at my house. I taped in some extra fabric here and tried to draw on the tape. Didn't work so well. But we're going to raise it an inch, and we're going to lower it by quite a bit there. I also had to unpick the shoulder at both sides. You could see that little space. Yeah, I agree. I think it's just doesn't, like, he don't care. Yeah, when fitting someone else is the dream. So much easier than ourselves. Back here, I brought up the hem a bit here, and I took in these panels. I don't know why I have this weird little pleat. And then we are doing 1/2 cuff width shorter. It does look a lot. It does look a lot. The chest was fine though. Like, I think like this area was fine. We're really just focused on length and the angle of his shoulders. So, and then a little bit in the back. I do think I need to bring in a little bit in the back. Like, it's 3/8 here on both sides there. So by and large, I think this was a decent starting size. This was size, they don't use standard sizes. Oh, C. I used size C. I printed C, D, and E, and then I used size C. Julie's fighting for her life. Yeah, that mystery pleat. Like, I want to look at that first. So I've arranged, oh, the other thing I did was I added, everywhere you see this, I added a 1/4 inch to that seam because I want to flat fell it. The seam allowances by standard are 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter, and I added a little bit more so that I can flat fell. So that's just my preference. All right, I'll just bundle these pattern pieces together. These are all collar. There's a lot of pattern pieces with this pattern. That's the collar and all the interfacing. This is the pocket and all the interfacing. This is the placket and interfacing. Here is the back yoke and the back panel. And then this is the sleeve interfacings, placket, cuff. So there's a lot of little bundles here. So let's see here what happened when I did that. So let's draw in our seam allowance here and see where I went wrong when I went sewing or cutting, because it really should match and it doesn't. See, I have this weird little amount there. I've added to both these panel seams, right? But when I overlap there, I added here and here. That's a little better. Maybe it was just my muslin. It could have been the muslin. I was a little shy about ironing the muslin because it felt like it could shrink a little. So I'm back. Oh. Susan. Oh, did the stream hesitate? Sorry. I didn't see that. Okay. So let's start with our shoulders. Here we're going to do a lot with these shoulders, and we're going to set aside the front and the back pieces, and I'm going to set aside all of these other pieces here. We're in for a lot of fitting today. Let's hope I get it all right, right? I have some scrap fabric here, and one note about fitting for asymmetry, because I'm not going to fit him asymmetrically. I have like my personal opinion about that, and I'm not sure how other people feel about this. There's probably other people that have more experience fitting asymmetry and like a decidedly like good strategy with that. My personal opinion is If it makes your garment more comfortable, fit for asymmetry. If you like the way it looks better, fit for asymmetry. Those are the only two reasons. Because when you do this, it changes all the pieces of your pattern. So now you have a left and a right for every single piece that is affected by that fit change. And it can also accentuate asymmetry because it's fit so well. So that is, I usually get the garment all the way up to the point where it's like, now we'd have to fit it for asymmetry, and you have to make a choice. Some people go for it, but it's usually like 1 in like 10 people that will, that have to face that choice. Because it's not easy. It's like you have to have a left and right pant, a left and right pocket, a left and right sleeve, a left and right yoke, a left and right interfacing. It's a lot of pieces to manage. And you have to make sure you're not cutting 2 of one of those things, or you're not saying, oh, I need 2 of this, and then you flip it over. You just don't want to get confused. So I highly recommend just deciding on that. There's a really, really good example in the Palmer and Pletch book for fitting pants for real bodies. I can't remember the title of that book. But there is a woman in there that is very clearly asymmetrical. One leg very significantly different than the other. And the fit they do for her is beautiful. And it really makes it like some people, it highlights asymmetry, but it makes her look less asymmetrical. It's really cool. I love that section. Oh, you just retracted that. It's your choice. I would just fit it to the point, because bigger is so open to interpretation in some respects, right? So, all right. This is my back. I'll just write it on here so you can see what I'm working on, because it's probably hard to tell. Yeah, it's just up to you what you want. This is the hanging loop, and I just have it taped on here so I don't lose it. I was a little concerned that I would lose it, so I just have it there. And I'm going to trim off this excess so it's not hanging down below my yoke. All right, so we have all this. Should we bring in the camera at all? Let's see. So I felt a little bit like when I pulled in this amount here, I was getting nervous with Michael. Was I fitting asymmetrically? I don't want to fit him asymmetrically. So I'm going to just look at his photos really quick, because I do feel like both sides could lose a little bit of circumference at the chest there. I wish I had a front view photo here, but I don't. I don't know why. Hey Terry, how's it going? No apology necessary. Okay. I'm going to set that pile there. We got our scrap fabric. So I had I like to keep a list sometimes. Or I make a list. This way I often will forget something, so that's why. So we're going to lower front neck, raise back neck, open shoulder at neck, move shoulder forward, lower armhole, decrease front chest. Oh, and then right here, I did a round back adjustment right here between that and lowering the shoulder. Yeah, I want to lower the shoulder too. Lower armhole and shoulder. So when you're doing a slope shoulder adjustment, or you're adjusting for someone with slope shoulders, more than likely you'll have to lower the armhole. So think of it like this, like this is the person, right? And their shoulder is more sloped, right? So you need to bring it down. You probably also need to bring down the whole armhole, because it's not like their arms are shallower than someone else's. You just need to shift the whole armhole down. It does, Julie. I'm sorry. I know how that feels. I really like puzzles, and I think it helps that, you know. I kind of like, and I look at it like I'll be really honest with you. When I saw how many fit changes, I was like, oh, could I just do this off camera? Like, mainly because I want to not make any mistakes, and I don't want to be distracted, and I want to get through it quickly. But at the same time, I really like showing the fitting as well. And this isn't going to be perfect the first time. It just won't be. You can't expect that. Like, I won't expect that. All right, so we're going to bring in the back panel seams. Bring in. No pleat. No cappies. Shorten hem, shorten garment, shorten sleeve. The thought of it is poop. You love it when you're doing it, yeah. Okay, so I don't think I brought the, oh, I kind of did, yeah. We widened the neckline too. We raised it, raised back neck, open shoulder, neck, lower front neck, widen neck. Okay, these three together. Shoulder, chest, back panels, the seams, bring in a no pleat. We'll check those together. And then this is the cap ease and the sleeve we'll do together, and then the hem. I think that's everything here. I compared the armhole, and I think I lowered it 5/8. So I'm going to now go through and write down some numbers here. 1 inch, and then lower the front neck. Oof. Like 1 1/4. We're gonna widen the neck. 1/2 inch. Open the shoulder. 3/4 at the new neckline. I'm gonna see this right here, this will be tricky to translate all of this, because we have right here an unpicked seam right here. This is an unpicked seam. So it's open right here, but also pinched in here. So it's getting wider here and narrower here. That's awesome, Julie. That's really great. I don't think I brought in the shoulders at all right here. Let's double check it. I may have. Maybe I did a little bit. I don't think I did though. Let's see. I didn't do the best job of fitting him. I'm always a little bit like trying not to take someone's time up, you know? But that looks clearly shorter. But I should have taken the time. This is clearly shorter there. So we did bring it in a little bit. I don't remember trimming that though. Let's look at it. I feel like this is after. He's dealt with bad fitting shirts for long enough. I really liked kind of where the sleeve hit him, but I think I did bring it in a tiny bit there. Not much. So let's bring that in. Shoulder length minus 1/4 inch. Shoulder forward. We're going to decrease the slope actually. This seems probably kind of tedious to write this all out, but for me, it's like a check and balances. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm actually lowering the slope and I'm bringing it forward. So once I've lowered it, you know, am I looking at this like, okay, here's the old seam, right? It's pinned right there. It's right there. That's the seam. Here's the new line. Now I could look at it like, oh, bring it forward 3/4 of an inch, but I'm also lowering it. So once I lower it, I'm bringing it in half that much, right? So this right here is our new seam, but this is our new length, right? So we're going to get rid of that and then bring the shoulder seam forward. I think that's a little more easier to kind of change the dimensions, then move your seams. The seam is purely, not purely, but it's cosmetic, right? So this right here, that changes the dimensions. This right here just changes the placement. Does that make sense? So we're going to move the shoulder forward 3/8 after decreases. Okay, decrease front chest. And then this right here, I'm probably going to be conservative on, even though I pinched out 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to be a little more conservative on because I don't want to affect the side for the asymmetry, right? But look at where I drew his armhole line. Now this doesn't mean I'm decreasing it because the seam line here, I feel like I didn't change that. I wish I could remember. And because it's ratty, I really don't think I did. I know I started cutting right here. I cut right here. I didn't cut there. I didn't cut there. I'm going to leave that. And we'll probably transfer this. Like right here, I would usually go, okay, how do I measure this? From this point here, we went nothing, right? And then about 2 inches down, it's in this much. At the yoke, it's in this much. The fullest amount, it's in this much. And I kind of just measure along the edge and then go in from there. So like here, you know, we can go, oh, okay, 4 inches down, it goes in 3/4 of an inch. And that's the finished amount. I would still need seam allowance, right? So if we need seam allowance, we're only trimming like 1/8 of an inch. I just usually like to draw this in so I don't confuse the cut line with where it's fitting, right? So when you make a bodice and you leave something off like the neckline finish, the skirt, the sleeve, you're seeing the cut edge. And so if you don't draw in the seam line, it's really easy to be like, oh, this bodice is too long. But really, there's 5/8 inch of a seam allowance. And if you turn that under, you're like, oh, okay, wait, this is okay. You know, so just make sure you're not confusing the cut line for where it's going to fit you. So, all right, so let me get my head screwed on straight here. So we're going to bring that forward. See, this whole thing is like where I want this. Increase front chest. I'm going to say 1/2 inch. And lower the armhole 5/8 right there. Back panel seams, bring in 3/8 to 0 at yoke. No pleat. A few more exclamation points. This is the finished length here. So I need to add my seam allowance to that, and I usually allow 3/4 of an inch for the hem. I find that pretty easy. So you can see nothing right here at the side seam. But right here, you know, we're talking, I don't know, 5/8. Shorten hem 5/8 in front. And then at center back here, it's like 1.5 inches. Shorten the sleeve 1/2 cuff width. I think I need to raise the cap as well. Because of the diagonal line pointing at his cap. Okay, let's start doing some of this stuff. I'm excited. A little nervous about this, all these shoulder changes though. He does just wear t-shirts. I love that they give you a full yoke, but it does mean I need to make sure I do all the changes to both sides. So I'm going to tape a piece of paper on here and then just do it all at once. So I don't think I gave myself enough over there. Honestly, I don't need to add paper, but I'm just doing it anyway. We're taking out a lot. The front we are adding a bit. Is anyone working on their holiday plans? Like, are you guys sewing for the holidays and what? So I got this, if you're in Pattern Chatter, like not this past Friday, but the one before that, there was a garment bag, an Etsy pattern. What's their name again, Terry? I can't remember their name. That's their name, something Naughton. Anyway, it's like a garment bag. So a garment bag, and then you zip it so that it turns into a duffel bag, and then there's room inside the garment bag, right? I was thinking about doing some of those for holiday gifts, but now I'm thinking I might do those as a birthday gift for a couple of kids in my life. My husband works for a bag maker, and they make luggage. So there's that. Okay, let's put this like this. All right, so I'm going to bring in the camera because I'm going to use a lot of pencil today. Ooh. I love that idea, Tiffany. Honestly. I love that idea. I think a tree skirt would be really fun to make. How's that? Mafio! Yeah, Caden. Caden. I was going to say, I knew it was a C and the last name. Yeah, that's the one. How's it going, Mafio? Nice to see you. Maybe, Beth, I might. Maybe, maybe. I did get it and I did print it, but I am not nowhere near making it, just so you know. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring in my neck. Okay, so I'll draw in the seam allowances so you can see where I'm working. I'm going to try not to use a lot of Sharpie. I would really like it to be more accurate. So I added to this side here. We'll definitely be altering the neckline. So, you know, one thing I could do that would be a gift to my future neckline changing self would be to measure this neckline right here and write down the length. So I wrote the neck was 4 inches before changes, and I do this actually before changes. I'm gonna write this over here because I'm about to cut that all off. I do this because it's easier to know how much to decrease the neckline sometimes. It just depends. All right, so we're going to bring this in a 1/2 inch. I'm going to drop this 3/8. I'm going to drop this 1 1/4. I think I'm going to try and find a different color so we can keep track. We'll use a few, just like in design school. All right, so now we have, where's my French curve? Oh, it's at the ironing station, I'm pretty sure. Wait. I don't think I've used it since I moved here. I know I saw it. I just don't think I've used it since I moved here. Oh, wait. This is my default place for it. Let's see if it's in here. Oh boy. No, it's not in here. But I was looking for that, so that's good. Okay. We're just freewheeling it. Didn't take me long. Okay, there we go. All right, and then we're going to bring that forward, but I think we needed to add to the back neck. So let's, so this is our new finished neck right here. No, we want to go more forward. We wanted to decrease the slope here, and then we want to bring in the whole shoulder. So let's just draw in our new slope here. One thing at a time. So this was our new slope. Okay. Plus seam allowance. I'm only doing 3/8 here. I'm sticking with the original because it's the yoke seam. I don't need to do a flat fell seam there. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this so it's not confusing. All right. And so now I'm going to move this shoulder line forward. We can draw in this seam allowance too here. I usually like a 1/4 inch, but we're not worried about that right now. We can do that later if we want. I can handle 3/8. It's fine. All right, so now we're going to bring this forward 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to use a pencil first. And then we'll add our seam allowance back. This is our new cut line. We're not cutting that off quite yet. So the new cut line is this right here. I don't like using markers. Okay, so that's our new cut line right here. Let's work on our back. Let's draw in our seam allowances. I wish these drew on tape better, you know? Oh, this is the... So I know that looks crazy, but just don't worry. We're going to calm it down in a little bit. Don't worry. Don't worry. It looks kind of crazy. You have to kind of do all this at once, otherwise you might lose track. Oh, I don't have a stapler in here right now. I'm living between 2 different rooms. I already thought I had too many staplers. I don't have enough staplers. I'm not buying another one. All right. So now what we want to do to tie into this is we want to widen the neck, right? Same amount. So same amount, right? We also need to add to the back shoulder slope. And that was, yeah, it was. So this right here is this little bit right here that I'm opening it right here. Okay. So we're going to raise that up. Green is our new lines. Green is our new line. We're going to decrease the outer shoulder slope while increasing the interior slope. Yep, okay, so this is our new slope. And this is our new shoulder. We're dropping our back, neck. We're doing so much. I've always known he needed all this. Always do right angles at these seams that, or these spots that are on the fold or your centers. Always right angles, and then you want nice transitions at your shoulders, which we'll do in a second. So then let's add in our seam allowance here. I don't really like that curve there. We don't want that. The neckline's a little, well, it depends. Sometimes that's really helpful, having it really curved like a right angle, but I would do that like on a personal basis. All right, so now let's add in that shoulder slope. We brought the shoulder forward 3/4. That's our new slope. We just totally redesigned this whole thing. Okay, so we did that, that, that. We added the slope. We brought in the shoulder. Okay, we're going to trim this front down. That looks better, huh? So now we're going to add it to here and get our transition and make sure our seam is going to match. You can kind of see it's kind of a crazy angle. I'm kind of deciding where I want to place that. There we go, right there. So something like that. And so we have, this is our green line right here, and this is our green line right here, right? So let's blend this in a little better. Something like that. Which is fine. I was conservative when I widened the neckline there. All right. And now we're going to cut our back shoulder. Okay, I don't have the outer shoulder done, but here is my new. So I feel like this is a really good example when I'm helping someone at So Liberated in the forum, and we fit the hinterland a lot, and there's a lot going on here. When I'm telling them to do things, it's really hard. You don't want to tell someone to do all of that, right? That's so confusing, especially because it's all via text, like you know, in a forum. So, but you know, people are eager and they're like, oh, I've got this person, I want to get help. And I feel bad that I'm like, okay, first we're going to do this, then just stop, you know, because I can't, we're going to do that and then we're going to go back to it and do a little bit more. So it's a good example of why doing all that would be so confusing if you were by yourself doing it. I'm just looking at things just because, you know, the optical illusion of these old lines is throwing me off a little bit. And I sort of want to soften this a little bit. So let's just make sure we get that. I haven't worked on the transition here because you see I have a little point right there. So I'm kind of thinking like right here. if you're uncertain about something, just remind yourself you're going to sew another muslin. All right, this is looking better. Purple will be our, if we see purple, we know purple is the deciding color. If we see green, that's the deciding color if there's no purple. All right, so this is our line. All right, now let's see. We've done this, that. We've done that. That. Okay. The neck looks odd. Not now. Does it? I mean, he's a pretty odd neck. I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's see. We're going to lower the armhole and the shoulder. We already did that. Actually, we lowered the shoulder. I'm a little concerned about this one here. Lower armhole. Wait, what? I'm missing something. Boom, boom, boom. All right, where's our... We just did a lot of our changes. A lot of these others are a lot less scary, in my opinion. Okay, so we have our armhole here, armhole here. So now let's look at our armhole. This is the back. This is the front. It looks like a back, but it's not. Okay, so let's look at our front. Oh, is this like a live chat inside joke thing I'm missing? Okay, so I'm gonna draw in my seam here and make sure. So now the thing I need to do that's a little tricky is the decreasing the front chest right here. And I'm a little nervous about it because I don't want to fit this too asymmetrically. But I think the thing I would do is slash and overlap on the lower portion. But no, that could work here too. Because see, we don't really want to lose it here. We just want to lose it down here, right? So in a way, we're making it more concave. So if we slash and go to the shoulder and overlap here, and we slash, go to the hem and overlap, we can get rid of that. Oh, did I? That's so helpful. Just go boom, 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 you're done. All right, so let's draw a line. We're going to use this little juncture here. This has 5/8 inch seam. This has 3/8 inch seam. We're gonna go from here to just somewhere along here, right? Just I don't need a ruler to draw it, right? But we're gonna go like this, so you can kind of see what I'm doing, right? And then I'm going to cut here, and then cut down to it and make a pivot. I love watching Jen Stern do this because her camera is so good to show what she's doing. I love it. All right, we're gonna overlap. I'm gonna be a little more conservative than what I pinched out, and I'm gonna overlap like a 1/2 inch. Why isn't this? There we go. Couldn't get it to move. So this might change my pocket, right? Could you please pivot? What are you getting hung up on? There we go. It was the stand. Yeah, I think I've helped a few of you fit the Sanders. Funnily, I thought, oh, I should kind of know what common things are happening with this pattern, but I couldn't remember. We're gonna straighten this line right here, right? We don't want a curve. You can have a curve, it's fine, but I don't want a curve, so I'm gonna do that and take a little piece of paper. I love the silhouette of this shirt. And I think it's perfect for my husband. He's kind of a small guy, like not like bulky. And I think one of his complaints is that sometimes shirts are just too like voluminous, especially some of the more modern men's stuff. Like he can't even buy anything at like Tractor Supply. There's just like no way. The smallest size there is too big for him. Okay, so that got rid of that chest, and it looks like I can use my notches still. See, so that's C and C, so my pocket has not changed. Yeah, I did put a straight line, so yep. So now let's do this one here, and we're gonna go up to a hem. I don't actually know what the hem is down there, but it doesn't matter because I would use a 3/4 of an inch, and then we're going to change it later too. So we're just gonna do it where it's at right now. So we're gonna go up to the hem, and then up to the hem. By the way, you can do all these fit changes on women's things too. It's not specific to men. All fit changes can go on any person. All right, so we're going to overlap this by a 1/2 inch. It doesn't matter what the fit change is. If they need it done, then you just do it. It doesn't matter if it's a full bust or a small bust adjustment too. Like those are for all people. I should have weighted this down. This is where I don't like when I can't see what I did. So let's just draw it in here. So we know. I'm taping over the ink because it won't stay. Okay, take out a 1/2 inch. Maybe I can make this a quick fit video, but I don't know if anyone's interested in all these changes. Like, I get that they're not Sharpie, but come on. All right, let's make sure this line here is straight and it's kind of barely off because of that change. Let's just add a little paper in here just to be proper. I'm dressed very proper today, you know, so. Yeah, you can really see it. Can you see that little bit? Probably not. But that right there, this little corner is kind of hanging up. And I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I don't know what I was thinking just now. I want a straight line. I also want it perpendicular to center front. So yeah, it's going to have to come down a little bit. Okay. All right, so now let's deal with our armhole. We're just making our way around. I like that change a lot. I'm glad I did that. Okay, so we did this. And now we're going to lower the armhole 5/8. So, my one thing about this is I want to calculate how much I have already decreased the armhole at the top, because it would be really nice to lower the armhole in the same amount, right? So then that way we know our sleeve can stay the same, unless we wanted to change the sleeve, you know? So thank you, Julie. I knew Julie would say something. I was hounding the chat today to be like, I feel so cute today. Tell me I'm look cute. They're like, yeah, you look like Christmas. They were nicer than that, I promise. I was just like, where's Monica? Where's Julie? They would say something. Okay, let's overlap this. Okay, so now we have our whole armhole here, right? And we want to decrease it by this much. I'm being lazy by not showing the, that's the actual seam line here. Let's do green, right? Oh, can't show green because of the pencil. She finally did. She replied. She was like, you do. I wish I had my, oh, I do. Here we go. My little savior. Definitely need a new tape dispenser. I bought one recently, but I use this one. This one needs one too. The little blade, you just think it's going to last forever, and it just doesn't, you know? It's so funny. They don't make tape dispensers the way they used to. All right, so this is my seam line here. So we're going to lower this to there. This is... That's the seam line. I did this wrong right here. Oh, this is very wrong. All right, so that's what I want to lower it to. So let's say that's the armhole, finished armhole right now. And now I want to lower it 5/8 of an inch. This is where it's going to end up. Where's the white out? We're going to cover this up. We're going to get rid of that too. Oops. That stuff's weird. And then this is our new cut line, like that. So that was the line I cut. I was just making it not right. Right, Terry? My other one was mangled, but it was like 20 years old. I was expecting a lot. All right, so we're going to go down to this new armhole, and then we're going to blend in our cut line, right? So now we've dropped this 5/8, which drops it like 5/8 on each side, front and back, and then we've lowered our shoulder line as well, and we did that 3/8 and it's only 3/4. So our sleeve could be a little different now. Oh, really, Julie? Oh, that would really be annoying. Yeah, sometimes it does, Terry. It just is. And the tape is kind of nice because it just instantly covers it. You don't have to wait to dry. But I used to have whiteout in like 5 colors because pattern drafting, the oak tag came in 5 different colors. It came in manila, green, blue, and this, it was called red, but it was like a pink color. And we had yellow too. And you would have to use matching. If we would have been in school, they would have still docked us, but you know. All right, I don't think I'm going to bring in the shoulder. I kind of want to. A little. We're going to bring in a little bit, 1/4 inch. Just a 1/4 inch. And then we'll put our seam line back. Let's blend this in with the new cut line. So right here. Because we already decreased this right here, right? So we're not worried about that. We did that first. So now let's just trim this down. Get rid of all the crazy stuff. So that's our new armhole, right? I'm telling you though, I'm so suspicious of anything gluey or sticky now between Pellon and fusible interfacing and tape. Like even the removable tape isn't as good as it used to be. We can get rid of all this paper back here, down here I mean. Okay. Okay, so now let's match our back to the front. So we have dropped the armhole 5/8 and we brought in the shoulder 1/4 of an inch. So that's what we're going to focus on here. We don't need to do the other thing we did. So we're going to just giving myself a guide so I can tape these together as if they're sewn. So I have this right here. You can reuse it too, which I like. Okay. We're gonna go in 1/4. We never did true that transition too, so we'll be doing that as well. And then this right now is our current line, right? But we're gonna go lower, and then we're gonna add back the cut line. The reason that I was doing all that like whiteout before is because the amount we're lowering the armhole is 5/8 of an inch, and that's just coincidental with the seam allowance, and that's why I didn't want to confuse you. So I think I wasn't really saying that. All right, so now we're going to blend this in. That's a long armhole. Very long armhole. And then let's get our front here. Line it up as if it's sewn. And try and blend it in. I should have left this here a little bit, I think. So many changes at once. I'm just going to tape a little piece of paper. Sometimes I will compromise my fitting because I don't want to tape a piece of paper on. So I've come to just tape the paper on so that I don't do that. So, all right, so now we can kind of blend in this cutting line to something I like better. We just took back a little bit of that, so we're not sure if we want to do that. Let me just look at this. Something like that. Okay. We can look at our underarm transition too, but it's looking pretty good. Oh, it's gonna actually be here. It's that seam allowance thing again. This one's not too hard to get a good transition for. All right. We're really making good time here. So we've got our that. Okay, so now we're just on the back panel seams and the hem. We've done all of the tricky stuff. See? Removable tape, and it just tore my pattern. It's really annoying. All right, we know our back matches. So now we don't need this or this. We need you, and we don't need you. All right, we're gonna do the hems in a second though. Okay. They give you the full pattern piece here, which is really nice. So this is the back panel, so you can see that there's shaping, and he needs just a little bit more. And we're gonna do that now. So here is the back, and I'm just gonna look at this here, because I'm pretty sure I just went all the way straight down, like it's like 3/8, and then it kind of tapers to nothing when I get to the yoke here. I was so desperate for pins, I used a T-pin. Those things are like nails. So we'll just keep this really easy. I'm just going to trim off 3/8 of an inch parallel to this edge. And then we'll blend it to nothing up here. Donna! Donna and Mafia are here today. Holy smokes. How's it going? Nice to see you, Donna. We miss you. Did you have a good summer? I know it was full. I would love to hear an update sometime about your property. I'm going to start right about here. See why I like a grid ruler? It just makes it faster. I probably would have eyeballed that if you guys weren't watching me, to be honest. So let's see if we can use this. Oh yeah, look at that. So the seam is the same on either side. Interesting. Okay. So let's just copy it. So we know it sews together. There we go. The seam juncture here, seam juncture there, right? It should hang off to be a little point right here because of the seam line. Perfect. That's done. Oh, busted your knee? Oh, I am so sorry. That's awful. That must be a long time to heal. Dang. Yeah, I bet you'll be feeling that for the next year. Take care of yourself. Don't overdo it. I feel like you're the type that overdoes it. All right. We're going to raise this. We're going to do a bunch of, let's do the hems and then we'll do all sleeve stuff and then we're ready to cut. All right, so we're going to shorten the front 5/8 and the back 1.5. It's so interesting that he needed less in back, but it is lower in back, isn't it? It is lower in back. No, it doesn't look lower in back. I'm just surprised. I thought his back would have been more short, not long. Oh, you were away? Did you just be like, oh, I'm fine, got up and walked home, and then you were like, I'm not fine? Or did you get help there? Because holy, that's awful. You do overdo it. I know it. Donna and I have, well, she's in the UK. Like, she's in England. I'm in California. Our properties are very similar for similar reasons, but different climate. It's a tennis injury for sure. You got help there and you walked away. Of course you did. I feel like I'm taking out this little swoopiness of the hem. Do you think I should just raise it up? Let's look at the photos again. What do we think? Let's watch his video. It's the slow-mo video. I could speed it up. Maybe I should. I just want to see the side view. We got rid of the tenting happening back there. Look at all that. Oh, we can't see the side view very much. I think we could raise it a little bit. These don't really help. I'm gonna look at my phone, see if I have better photos. Okay. I really did give you all the photos. I didn't show you that one though. That's a good photo. You can really see the rounded. See that wrinkle right there? We're going to get rid of that. And my bad easing. He looks like he could have used a little of that on the back too, huh? We'll do that on the second one. There, we got rid of that. Is this the video we're looking at? There we go. Dance, Michael, dance. I think I'm going to bring it up all the way around. Me too, Blair. Oh, this happened at Wimbledon. You know how that place is. My fans were swarming me. I was running to try and get away. Okay. This has... I don't think Donna's picking up on what we're trying to tell her to say. Okay, we're bringing up the back 1 1/4. Oh, I don't know. I never do. You know why? I know why, Terry. No, we could totally do that. Partly because I'm doing an uneven amount, but I will tell you guys, there's certain things that I've started figuring out why I do certain things differently. When I drafted patterns, like for a company or a client or wherever I worked, there were no lengthen and shorten lines on the patterns. We just lengthened and shortened it where we wanted to lengthen and shorten it. So, what's happening, Julie? Yes, thank you, Fiona. Spell it out for her. So yeah, you could, if you're doing an uneven amount though, you're still going to have to blend at your side seams. Okay, so. There are issues with doing this, because what if you want to not affect any circumferences? That is why lengthen and shorten lines exist, so that if you only want to shorten it and you don't want to change its circumference, you can just raise and lower it, right? So now here's the deal. I feel like this would be good for my iPad. Let me get it. It's right here. Let's see. Oops, I'm so sorry. Just whacked the microphone. Okay, so let me see if I can describe this well. I'm looking at the screen, the background color, to see if I can pick something that's let's do something like that. Well, I don't actually think that color will fight me. Okay, so let's say I did a video on this for when you're trying to decide the length of your zipper fly and you're lowering or raising your waist, right? So this is kind of the same idea, but different, right? So let's say we have a human being, and we're going to make this human being an hourglass, okay? So now let's say we have a shirt. Okay, like we're just going to, okay, now we have this shirt, right? Now, if you are okay, I didn't practice this, so I'm trying to think how I can describe this best. Let's say that you want this to go all the way down to here, okay? Now, if you were to lower this just straight down using a lengthen and shorten line, right? And we come straight down, we are probably going to be too narrow, right? So when you need to lengthen and shorten, and you don't need to change the circumference, great, you can use the lengthen and shorten line, but you may have to change the circumference if you're finding it needs to be smaller or larger, right? So that's the thing to think about, is just because, you know, that line exists, which is great, because it's so great at going, okay, this is your safe place, right? So now for me, the like say this is, it's down here, right? Okay, and we're like, oh, I want this shorter. Now we have some curve here, just like we have some curve in this hourglass we're fitting, this like tabletop accessory. And so if we shorten this, right, it's going to be okay. Like we're okay because we have that contour on the side seam. But let's say, I'm just trying to think of good examples. It's like with say, let's say that this shirt is a little bit snug around the hips, and coincidentally you also want to shorten it. Sometimes shortening it is going to give you the added circumference you need because it's wider up here, or you're so much narrower up there that the shirt didn't taper as fast as you did, and so it gives you more circumference. So like in the case of this, you know, I'm just erasing it where I want it, right? And so I'm leaving, I'm just going with whatever I get there. Like it's going to change the circumference of the hem. In other words, the way I'm doing it is changing the circumference of the hem because there's contour on the sides, but it's okay. It's going to work to my benefit. And because I pinned it out on Michael, I know it's okay. Now, if I had pinned it out and I shortened it, I could have been like, oh, this is still a little tight here. Like it was already tight, and we need to tighten it. So this is the things I just want you to think about, is like that lengthen and shorten that line is great. If you don't want to change anything, and most people don't, like they're being very literal when they give you that line. They're trying to say, hey, you want this shorter? Here's a great place to do this. And then we know that you're still in good hands. We haven't changed anything else. You can if you want, but you don't have to. So it's putting you in the exact same hem circumference they promised you. That's how I want to phrase that. Oh, Loki's dreaming. Okay, I trimmed all that off, right? Let's check our side seam. Okay, we're good. That was the better way to phrase it at the end. That they give you a lengthen and shorten line because now you have still the promised circumference at that hem. Yeah, sure. Like I think I feel bad that I don't use some things like that because they are great tools. All right, so we did our hem. Let's do our sleeve. That's all we have left. And we need to measure our armhole. So let's measure our armhole and figure out, what do we got? Oops. Okay, so I'm doing the thing I make some of you do sometimes where I'm like, okay, I want to know all your measurements. Like anytime someone in Gildies asks me, I need help fitting this, and it's a sleeve, I will make them do this whole thing where they have to, oops, that's the wrong line. There's a lot of lines on my pattern. They have to measure the armhole and the cap of the sleeve. I have a diagram for it and everything, but basically we're doing this. We're gonna go, and I always do a little diagram for myself. So the front is that. We can get rid of this right here. Okay. And the back, let's give myself a little guide so we're somewhat accurate. We've made a lot of changes, right? Having the yoke kind of adds a little bit. Oh, wait, this is a 3/8 inch seam right here. Phew. I have a lot of seam allowances going on too. I have 3/8 and 5/8 going on. Once I do these changes, we'll do some cutting. I'm getting like a little, like, whew, whew. Okay, this is 3/8 as well. Okay, just making sure I did that at the shoulder. 3/8 there, and that's 5/8. So this is my juncture right here. Okay. Okay. Still need to change my collar. I may not have time to cut this. Yes. You guys aren't the only ones. I do it to everybody. All right, we're going to do it here too. So I added a quarter to this seam too. So our sleeve needs some added cap height to get rid of that line pointing at it. And I'm sort of hoping that I can get rid of some of the ease. I can actually see this sleeve needs cap height because it's so rounded at the top. If you're going to have a sleeve with ease, it should be a little narrower at the top. It shouldn't be so rounded like this. That means the cap's too short. You know, like think of your arm. You know, your arm it's like narrower and pointier. So like if this is your sleeve, right? And then this is your arm, right? And there's your elbow. There's your club hand, right? So you don't really need all this right here of the sleeve. What is better is if it goes like this. That's my rudimentary drawing. So when I see his sleeve is a little rounded, I can kind of tell sometimes it might have that, but if the shoulder of the garment is dropped to meet it far enough out, like the garment itself meets it, then it's fine. It's totally fine. You can have a flatter cap as long as that is happening. Yeah, I think so too. I think, is this the shirt that Shem cut like a completely different size for the sleeve than the bodice or something, or the shirt? I can't remember. It's so weird that people walk by my window here. Okay. Just drawing in all this these seam allowances. And so now we're going to measure the front to the cap here. I don't care about the notch, but you can include the notches if you really like those notches as guides. For me, they just tell me like front from back. And these notches are this notch is so high up, it really threw me off. I was like, oh, there's definitely no ease in this sleeve then. 10 3/4. Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm sorry, Fiona. I was hoping it would empower people. Did you see my husband though? He's got a lot of fit issues. I know everybody does, but he has some pretty significant ones. Like more so than most people I fit. All right, so now let's do some maths, because that's plural apparently in some countries, which is really weird. Wait, let's just do this. I don't know why I did that. Ooh, the calculator changed. I don't like that. Okay, so this is 8.5. And this is 11.5. I can see it. Holy. So this is a 3/4 inch. What? Oh, I didn't move the shoulder notch. Okay, that's fine. 11.5 and 10 3/4, 8.5 and 9 7/8. Okay, so this shoulder notch is in the wrong place because remember I moved my shoulder seam forward like 3/4 of an inch. So if let's total this then and see, because we can just place the shoulder notch if it's in a good spot. That sounds a lot harder, Julie. Is it, Fiona? Really? I'm sorry. The important thing for me was to remember that I don't have to make all the changes for making. Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I was saying. Like, this is going to be a wearable muslin. Partly, yeah, I don't know. 9. I like that you can see this right here. This is great. 9 7/8, 10 3/4. So 20 5/8. I can do this in my head, but I can't when people are watching. I know you don't believe me, but it's true. This is 20. Okay, my sleeve is only 5/8 of an inch different. That's about to change because we're going to raise the cap a little bit. But that's okay. We'll just decrease it a little bit, and I think we're going to be good. All right, so let's do that. So in this case, for the length, I will use the lengthen and shorten line because I don't want to change anything about this cuff area. So let's just change our length because it's easy to do. We're just going to shorten it half the cuff width. All these bundles of things. Here we go. Here's my cuff. And it is, so it's about a 2 inch. We want to shorten it 2 inches. So we're just going to cut across here. No, this is just a, yeah, it's a lot of changes. We just basically reconstructed the whole shoulder neck area for him. He really needed that though. I've always wanted to fit him. 2 inches. Yep, there, yeah, exactly, Fiona. Yeah, I think Michael's, like his one shoulder coming forward is from an injury. He has also a pretty rare arthritic condition. That's why his neck position is a little different too. Okay, so we're gonna blend in. So I'm just drawing in my seam line. I have 5/8 on this underarm for the flat felled seams. So we're just gonna kind of try and, I'm just gonna freehand it like this. something like that. Right? So I need to add a little bit right here. You just do baby steps, you know? If they're fine with how their shirts fit right now, you just do a couple of the adjustments each time you make one. I make Michael a lot of shirts, and I've never fit his shirts. Never. Like, maybe length. That's about it. And when I was fitting him and I was asking him a question, he was like, oh yeah, that's always there. And it was like a wrinkle and the way something felt. And I said, does this feel this way or whatever? I can't remember what it was. And he said, oh yeah, but that's always like that. And I was like, but it doesn't have to be, you know? And he was used to it, and he was kind of basically saying, yeah, you don't have to worry about that though. I'm used to that. And I was like, no. We're going to change that. Yeah, like, yeah, when they start recognizing, like, wait, I've always hated this thing, you know? Okay, I'm going to cut both at the same time because they sew together, right? I just can't see to line them up. Chip away at it. That's one of my philosophies. It doesn't want to bend right here because of the, I already decreased it right here, so. Okay. Okay, there we go. See how I did there? All right, so now our sleeve is shortened. And all we have is this cap. We're gonna keep that page. No, they're not. They don't have a huge pattern library, Donna, but I feel like you've heard of this Sanders button-up, though. It's been around for a bit. I've done that for, you know, you can fit your husband in the guild. I'm fine with that if you're a guildie. I helped Rachel with Scott's Sanders. I've helped Shem with his husband. All right. So when I cut my muslin, see, this was where the placket is marked right there. And I just did a little snip just so I could put the cuff on and make sure that that was going to be okay. All right, so here's our cap. And we determined that we have 5/8 of an inch excess in our sleeve. It's very respectable. It's fine. Maybe I could ease it in with a flat felled seam, but because I'm about to do this, I'm going to raise the cap like that. That's going to add, because usually when you do that, you slice off the cap, right? And then you literally raise it up. And this adds a lot because you're basically separating two seams. And when you raise it up, right, you have this length on either seam that it adds, right? So if I bring in the top cap a little bit, kind of narrow it down, that will reduce some of it. I want to look at my photos again. Because I feel like I'm a little worried about the sleeve circumference. Slow-mo. See that? Oh, he turns this way first. I should speed it up. So yeah, there is a little bit of volume at the top there. Risky. Risky. All right, we're gonna slice this off here. I'm just doing a perpendicular line to my grain line here. I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna look for some paper. Oh, perfect. I'm just going to raise it up like a 1/2 inch, not much. And then, oh, I really wish I would have drawn this grain line. I'm used to them going all the way to the top. I have that fold there, which is nice, but let's try and continue this here. That this way we can keep the cap in alignment with the lower part of the sleeve here, just like this. It's a little wonky. I think I didn't draw something perfect. So now usually when I tell someone to do this, I will say, I want you to use the cap width to blend in to your seam below. And I say this usually because I don't want you to lose any of your cap volume up here, because it's the hardest area of the body, not the body, but of the arm to fit. When you think about this little area right here, it is not a part of your bodice, and it is still attached to the torso, but from the armpit down you have a loose you know, a loose appendage, right? So this little area right here, it needs something three-dimensional around it. This is your butt. This is the butt of your arm. So if you thought about like the armhole curve being the crotch curve of the bodice, and this is the bum, that's what you're doing. You're trying to give volume to this area. But at least with sleeves, we're allowed to ease it, and we just aren't with the crotch rise, right? Plus, the crotch rise is the torso and the appendage are built as one pattern. You know what I mean? So I could totally do a deep dive on this because it's so fascinating thinking about our body. But so usually I would say reserve all of your volume here going across. Don't shortchange yourself. And then blend in like out here. But I'm not going to do that on his. I'm going to make it a little narrower. So we're going to use this lower line to sort of blend it in. That's going to narrow the cap a little bit. Oops, that's not the 5/8 line. Okay, so now I'm going to just measure this before I commit to this. And we need to move our cap notch forward. I think we're going to move it this much right here. Okay. So let's find our measurements here. So we're going to measure this amount here. And we'll see with what we're left. 10 3/4. It's right here, right at the center. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Sorry, I was looking at the sleeve. I want to measure the armhole. We want to try and get as close to the armhole as possible. All right, so. And then now this one, this is where all the ease is going to end up. And I really hate it when it's asymmetrical. Sleeves are one of the hardest things I did in college. I really wish they would have done pants. but they don't. So we have a gap of 1 3/8. And so to get rid of some of this volume, I can slice down the middle of the sleeve and overlap it. So I think I'll do that. And then we'll get rid of some of that. I'm gonna just tape that down. So this is our sleeve notch, and this is our back, this is our front. And measure this right along the seam line. It's 1.5 inches. Hoy. So we're gonna make our cap notch this right here. That's our ideal. And we're going to slice straight down the middle of where the cap notch is to the sleeve hem right here. And now we can overlap that amount there. I think I'll leave like, that's how much I would have to overlap. So I think I'm gonna leave like a 1/2 inch maybe to ease. I think I can do that with a flat felt. I'm a little nervous about that, but we can always increase this in other ways. Let's see. I'm trying to decide, what do I want to do? Let's do something like that. This is in the sleeve SBS too. Forget how to do it. I had someone ask me recently, like, okay, I've fit my sleeve, I really like it, and I want to now use it on other garments. And you can absolutely do that. I'm looking at my notch. So my back was here, and this is my front, right? So we're gonna go in between those two, right here. Just trim that off. So that was kind of a fun one. I love that kind of question. You can't really do it for a crotch curve, but you can do it for sleeves. It's just the armhole. You just need to transfer the armhole. That's all you have to do. You can't do that for your crotch curve. I don't know why people say that, but you can't. Okay, we're done. That was kind of epic, huh? That looks actually really good. It makes me a little nervous how good it looks. It looks really standard, which I'm kind of surprised. Perfect, Amy. You're in the mood too? All right, we're about to cut. I just did a ton of changes. Heck of boring stuff. Now we're gonna cut. I gotta get it all cut too because we are sewing tomorrow. Actually, I'm just gonna save this little guy here and this little guy here. We can toss this. I'm gonna get rid of all this extra paper. Oh, I haven't changed my collar. We need to change the sleeve plackets and cuffs are fine. The front button placket needs to be changed at the neck and the hem. And the collars need to change. The pocket's fine. Okay, so these are fine. This is all fine. We'll keep the muslin like this for now. We almost forgot. I don't think I measured my back neck. Didn't I? Did I? All right, so we shortened the neck 1.25 inches and the hem 5/8. So that's 1 7/8. Boop. Okay. And same with this one. Okay. Okay, the placket is fine. We need to check this was a little more involved. Here we go. So let's measure our front and back neckline. This is easy stuff though. This is what my next Fittopedia is all about. Next Fittopedia is more about like adjusting collars. Okay, so this is, plus I need the placket. Okay, 4.5 plus. Nope. Like I said, he's out of town. So this is going to be a wearable muslin. And then the placket. I can tell these are drafted for centimeters. It's kind of funny. It's very obvious. So this is like a 1+ inch placket. So 5.5 plus and 5.25. Those are my collar. That's interfacing. Here's my collar. So let's measure the collar now. Can you guys hear Loki snoring? Why is there no shoulder notch? What kind of maniac business is this? What kind of maniac business doesn't have a shoulder notch? Did I cover it up? No. You don't hear him? Wow. He's kind of sleeping hard. All right, so our back neck is 5.25. So we're going to measure this on the collar stand. That looks really different. What? How is that? Oh, okay, okay. Oh, I thought it was on the center. This is the center. Oh my goodness. That doesn't add much, but still, I feel a little better. Okay, so the back is here. And then the front. How is that so different? I didn't change it that much. I moved it forward. I brought it up. Oh, because I opened the neckline too. It was just too tight. Okay. You can't hear him? That's the first time? Oh, okay. He was really loud a second ago. 3 3/8. So that's like 2 1/8 inches. Dying. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to slice this down the center here. And we're going to add it all at the center back neck since we changed both front and back neck. We don't need to redraft the way that the, like this little shape right here, this is a very standard shape. So when you draft a collar stand, right, you put it a straight line here, right? Like you put a right angle right here. You go straight out and then you measure up a little bit and you find this point and then you draft your back and your front neck along this curved line. So that's pretty standardized. This one looks a little higher up here, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We can just keep this and we'll just add it all at the center back neck and then put our shoulder notch on there. And for the fire, oh, that's so cute. He's doing really good as a working dog. Okay, what did I say? I need like 2 1/8. So I need like 4 1/4 inches. This is disconcerting. There's no way. What did he say about his collar? What changed happened? I mean, I opened up the neckline, but only like on the side. That's the only thing I did. Like as far as an adjustment, I dropped it 1 inch, but I raised it. I dropped it 1 1/4 inches in front and I raised it 1 inch in back. And then I went out a 1/2 inch at the neck. That's the only thing I enlarged was the neck, and I dropped the front 1/4 inch, basically. It makes me so nervous. So we have our placket, includes our placket, right? Okay. Oh, we added this little bit right here, this wedge. Nervous. Oh. Oh, because he had made fitting changes. He just used their new pattern without... that's always the problem when... like, so they didn't just change something like adding more layers or something? Huh. Interesting. It's always hard when you've like done a bunch of fitting to something and you can't really print out the new pattern anymore, you know? You got to like stick to your thing, stick to your pattern you've already adjusted the fit of. When I've gotten a new pattern, like a new update for a pattern, I'm always like, tell me what it is, because I'm not really going to change that. Okay. How do I determine the notch placement? That's the shoulder. So I'm going to do the back neck here, right here. So this is the back, and it is 5 1/4 inches. Oops, I'm used to measuring on the 1/4 inch line. There we go. So right there, which I'm gonna have to tape because there's tape there, it won't stick. So this is my shoulder notch. And then the front should be 5 1/2. And it's almost 5 1/2. It's a little bit shy. It's 5. It should be 5 1/2 plus, and this should be 5 1/4 plus 5 1/4. Oh, okay, wait. I could move that a little bit. But yeah, so it's like a 1/16 of an inch off. That's fine with me. All right, so now I'm not gonna staple this. I'm gonna hold it really well and trim. We need to do our collar. This is just the stand. Notches, schmotches, what? Notches are life. Guarantee these aren't oh, I did pretty good, actually. All right, and then I like a center back notch at the neck and at the collar end. Okay, it feels okay. Maybe a little bigger. But Tim doesn't think so. Oof. Okay. For now, we need to do the same thing on this piece here. You do? Do you do a lot of pattern stuff? I thought you said you don't like doing pattern stuff. So this right here should go to your center front. So this notch, I love that they have this notch right here at the top of this collar stand. In the video, my tutorial on how to sew a collar and collar stand, this is one notch sometimes patterns don't have. And if you don't have it, I don't understand how they expect you to know where to attach your collar, because you have this long collar piece, right? And when you lay it on top here, you sew it from one end to the other. So you lay it right sides together, you know, like this, right? Not right sides together, but you just lay it together and then you start sewing. And if you don't have a place to line it up right here, you're kind of like, where do I put this? Like, where do I line it up? Yes, you should have a center notch, but then you're going like this. You're matching it at the center and walking it down here to know where to sew it. It's so bad when there's no starting point, you know. Was it? That's funny. I mean, that's a Vogue pattern, right? So makes sense. Okay. So let's see here. Let's measure. We're going to leave this guy here because that's an indication of our center front. I don't need to redraft that. That's fine. And if you didn't know where this was, like if you need to find this right here, I'll show you how. Here's the button placket, all right? So if you were to fold the button placket in half, and then you took off the seam allowance, okay? So let's take off the seam allowance, right? So now the middle of this distance here, that center, that right there is where that lines up. So that's a little far over. It should honestly be over here. So that's how it lines up, because this collar, can you see it? So look at the pink lines. That's your collar with the collar turned up, like if you popped your collar up, right? So this is the collar. So it goes to the center. So now think about when your shirt's buttoned up, right? And you have it, sorry, this is really awkward. Let's say it's buttoned up. You would want if you don't know, you just got to find it, right? You just use your logic if you have any. I didn't knock Vogue patterns. I think that notches are great. Okay, so this is our collar turned down, okay? There's our collar stand. So picture that it's all buttoned up here and your collar's turned down. Your top button goes right there on that collar stand. And you would want that in alignment with the center of all of your other buttons and buttonholes down your placket. So that's where that notch is supposed to be. It's supposed to be in alignment to this because you would want your collar to line up there. So it meets when you have it buttoned. This is a little bit kind of far that way, but let's look at the seam allowance. Like if this is the seam allowance. Oh no. I still think that's a little too far that way. It should be more like right here where the E is. See it now? Is this too esoteric? Here's the button, 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 collar turn down, collar stand. This is the seam line of the neck. So that notch right there corresponds to the center. But, you know, you can see, look at how much, like if you don't like this to be too short and you have trouble getting a button and buttonhole all the way up to there, that's probably why it's backed off a little bit. You can square off this roundedness here, make it less sloped, and it will give you more space there, because even if you know, went to here, right? Like if you just added a little bit, it would give you more room for that button. All right, sorry, I know I'm getting in the weeds, but my hands, I've been pattern drafting. Can't touch myself. All right, so let's measure. So I think I will move that notch over a little bit. Let's do D. Okay. And we'll square off our okay, are you gonna work or not? Yeah, there's our D. Okay, so now let's add a little bit. We'll square it off a little bit, just so that we have enough space for our button and buttonhole. This is my least favorite button and buttonhole to do. Like, a lot. I hate it. I hate this one. I hate this one too because the seam allowances will sort of bully your machine. So like this. So something like that. Can you see it? We'll get rid of this. This is just a personal preference too. You might not like it squared off like this, like visually. Come on. They don't make white out like they used to either. I wonder if I'm all done. I can't tell. In my experience, no. And that's because when you sew the collar and collar stand to the garment, you need this seam here to be open. And if you have a buttonhole right here, you're really going to hinder yourself. You might be able to do it. Like, it just depends on how tall this is. So, you know, maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think it just depends on how big this is. If it was narrow, no. You need, because you don't need just this open. You need to be able to have it open and also be able to go like this to turn up that seam allowance. So you need it all the way opened up to here. You know what I mean? I don't put it on my own shirts, Michelle. Look closely. You'll see either. I don't have a button and buttonhole on my own. I put it on his because I don't want to decide for him, because I think he might be like, yeah, you could leave it off. And then he might be like, oh, I forgot I told you to leave this off and I kind of need it today. You know what I mean? So I suck it up. Let me put the button and buttonhole on. I'm a little bit of a baby, but you know. All right, let's just finish this. What time is it? 1:10. Okay. All right, so we need this length from the center notch of the stand to where our collar ends. That needs to be this length from here to here, okay? So we're just going to measure this. I love drafting collars. I think that's something I can really get into. Oh, man. Okay, it's such a weird number. 9 5/8 plus. Plus means a 1/16 of an inch. So what we could do is just measure 9 5/8 plus. I didn't want to just measure over because this is such a huge amount. It doesn't feel very accurate. That's what I'm a little worried about right now. So if this was here, it'd be more accurate just to draft these, like to go like this, honestly. Let's just do that. I don't even think I have enough paper. Right? But that would be more accurate. Just to draft the other half rather than trying to line it up. We'll get rid of that. Yeah, just give them the option. I feel like I give myself a free pass, but I don't make nearly as many of these for me as I do my dad, my brother, and my husband. They need to appreciate that button. All right, let's fold it on this line here that I added. And I can't stress this enough. You should staple things to when you cut them out because it's more accurate, and don't staple them like, don't just staple one. It can wiggle. Trust me on that, okay? Do two and do them one this way and one this way. And you can kind of fix your patterns to be accurate when you are mirroring things. So I want a right angle here at the fold. And then we'll do that. I don't have my stapler in here though, so we're being a little cavalier here. All right, I'm gonna do a right angle here. We'll use the ruler to help us stay accurate. All right, now we're done, except for interfacing, and I'll do that later. The interfacing pieces are the same size minus seam allowance, so I'm just gonna draft those. It'll be faster. I did adjust this. I did. Okay. All right, now I'm ready. I hope I have the non-hunger capacity to cut this now. We have that. All right. What is this? Oh, it's a pen. My fabric, this is so many pieces, is this plaid here. I have it unfolded. Ooh, I gotta change hats right now. I gotta be like, you know. I have it unfolded. So the pieces I think of matching, personally speaking, I will probably do the back panel. the side seam, yoke to bottom in the front. What do I think about the back? I'm wondering if the bias would be kind of nice, but I could probably start here and then match all the way down. I think the button placket, I'll probably try and match that. Ooh, this is going to take me a while. This is no joke going to take me a while. Okay. I'm going to do these pieces, and that's what I'll stop with. Hopefully I can get through all this. We'll see. Yeah, this is nice. This is the mammoth. Very nice. Oh, it's so dark. Let's brighten it up a little bit. It's green. I had a different one planned, but it fought with the camera. Oh, that just did that automatically. The cameras are weird. There's something going on with this program, and I can't do anything about it. So I wish I had a stool to let this set on. I'm gonna just drop it off the end of my table. I'm gonna cut this right side up to me, which will probably be nice for you guys actually. We're gonna put a weight here so it doesn't fall off. And that was Loki. How far over can you see? You can kind of see over there. We can unzoom actually. I forgot about that. We zoomed in quite a bit. Let's see. Now it went dark. I didn't do that. It did it itself. All right, so I try and think about what do I want the button placket to be right now. Do I want it to be this gray stripe down the center? Do I want it to be this green stripe? You know, and I also want to stress that you don't have to match your plaids at all. Like, I think it looks good either way. So if you don't like matching it, don't feel the pressure to match it. I just know people would like to know like how some people do it. I have a SBS just on that, on matching, don't I? I do, right? We covered it in the sleeve making SBS, shirt making, sorry. So when you pick lines, as far as like what your button placket you want to be, you got to be careful because sometimes they will make it harder to deal with later on, you know. So yeah, what do I want? I think this maybe down the center. And so then when I look at that, I think of, remember we folded it and then here was our center line right here. That is what you line up to the center of your matching, right? So that little line right there, if I matched it to the center, that's how we would do that. So I like the way it looks too. I don't worry about the sleeves. Okay, so this is the center here, and it's like there's the seam allowance. It's like a little over an inch because of metric. It's like right there. Well, I'm just gonna mark it in a couple places on here. This would be a good chance or opportunity to actually double check my, that when I shortened this, I did it right. Because see, look, it's a tiny bit too short. So yeah. Right? You don't want your placket to be too short. There's a yoke on the front and a yoke on the back. Hi, Barbara. How's it going? The front often looks like the back, like a typical back in a button-up in this pattern. Just trimming this off. Longer, fine. Shorter, not so much. So. But this is the front. It looks like a normal, like this would normally be the back of a button-up shirt with the yoke, but this is the front. Okay. Do we think the gray? I think so. So if we did that and we had gray as our center, right, like that, that means that this seam line here lines up to this fold, where this fold is lining up. And that fold is lining up like 1/8 of an inch right here past this. So yeah, so it would be like, the other thing to think about is your hem, where you want that to be. I can't take that one off. All right, so here, see this line right here is 1/8 of an inch past this white strip right here, right? Because this right here, if we put the center on this little faint line here, right? This fold line right here is 1/8 of an inch on this side of this little line, so that's gonna match. And we need to make sure, like when we cut this, that we line up the end to the same spot we're lining up here. All right. Here we go. So now I try and make sure that my plaid isn't looking too warped on the table, because trust me, that is a definite issue to think about. Like I didn't cut this very straight, you can see. I didn't cut it very straight. All right, thoughts and prayers. Let's try and get this cut. This is, oh, I love cutting now. So now I'm gonna look at the plaid and just sort of stay straight here. I'm stuck on that paper. Like that. Okay, so there's one front. This is really soft. I love their flannel. All right, and now let's cut, this is leftover, right? So this is actually not how this is gonna go. This is okay, but if we have this like this, this is how we should look at this. I think actually it's fine. Technically, if you cut them both exactly the same, they're going to match, right? So then we have, oh, because this is a symmetrical plaid. It's a two-way plaid, not one way. It's not a one-way plaid. Oh my gosh, let me think about this. Confusing myself. All right, so if we had this overlap there, that would work, and it'd be continuous. Okay, I think I got lucky there, honestly. We want the center there. I wonder if the guys know what it takes. Nah. I do wish I would stop doing plaids though. Good old-fashioned solid would be really nice. Michael was like, oh, I like that. And when I was looking at fabric, and I was like, you do? Oh, this is the Robert Kaufman Mammoth Plaid. They have a ton of different colors and variations. It becomes better and better. Like, it's not as like soft as the day he got it, but the plaid itself, he loves it. It like breaks in. Loves this thing. Doesn't take it off. Okay, so now this is this one here, okay? All right. Let's actually label things for once. I never do that. All right. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's the right. Oh, that's funny. I just flipped this over. This was supposed to be the left. It's actually, this is the left front. It's like the same on both sides. I guess, yeah. So honestly, this was supposed to be the left front, and this is the right placket, but it works. I could do the exact same thing then, because my fabric is, I just got really lucky. All right, so then we have, I don't think I can go that far over. It was like there, right? I'm really trying to see if I can feel any difference, but I can't. I'm sure one side's fuzzier than the other, right? That's how they would make it. I don't actually know. This side look maybe is less, and this side's more. When I laid out the band. Well, I didn't do it very accurately, but they're both at the same, see? Okay, let's make this the left front. Okay, so now we want to line this up. The 3/8 is right there, past this line right here. Okay, it's really nice. This repeats playing really nicely with this pattern. All right, so this would be the right placket. I mean, I wasn't like trying to show you guys exactly. So yeah, I could see how it probably looked off on, especially zoomed out. But like right now I have this placket laying here, you can't even see it because I'm lining it up to that. So this is my right front and this is my right placket. I still need to cut my left placket. We just have to deal with all this waste though. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I usually will cut a line and then I look and see like where I'm at. Like, okay, is this, can you see that? So right here, this little underarm corner here, I will look and go, okay, where is that hitting on the fabric? Because sometimes your fabric will torque, and this is what I do. I just kind of scooch it to make sure that I'm getting it in the same spot. These don't sew to each other, but the back will sew to it, right? And we need this down here, right, to be at the same spot. So I will just kind of scrape it with my fingers to scooch it a little bit. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the notches. Thankfully, there's not a lot of notches on this. Yeah, I think this side looks a little messier for some reason, so I'm thinking that's the softer side. So this one goes with this, and you still need a placket. Let's see if we can get it going across. It's not you. Can we get it in one of these? One of these gray stripes? That would be nice, huh? Okay. All right. And so if this one, the center needs to be, this is my center of my placket, right? And we want it on this stripe here. And we want it on this dark green. This is why, you know, like getting your patterns printed on tissue is really, really helpful. The one great thing about this particular pattern is we won't have to match the pocket. So that's kind of nice. It's got drop-in pockets. This looks a little off. Okay. to our yoke. Yeah, no notches. I love it. I love it when there's no notches. I don't like it when there's a ton of notches. You don't need a notch to match the yoke to it. Like, it's great, but you don't need that. You can do it, you know? Like, what are you going to do if it doesn't match, you know? Like, it doesn't match. Okay, so let's pull up this with the yoke. So I think if this is the right side, I'm gonna just cut this off. And we're saving these pieces though. They'll be great for like plackets or if we have any, you know, stuff like that. All right, here's our yoke. And let's position this on here so that like this. So this plaid is, it's a two-way or four-way, whatever you want to call it, two-way or four-way, meaning it is the same, like this is a mirror image of itself, right? And this is a mirror image of itself. So if you took this point right here, same, right? That makes matching plaids much easier. If you can detect that in the photo when you're buying it, it helps a little bit. Sometimes, like I was looking at Style Maker the other day and they said one-way plaid. And I was like, oh, that's so helpful to just them tell you this is a one-way plaid. You'll need a lot more, not a lot more, but you'll definitely need more fabric if you're doing a one-way plaid. So just be aware of that. All right, so we want this to match. So I'm going to overlap this by the seam allowance. So here's my shirt piece. Can you see that? Right? So I'm just going to put my ruler on here. This is a lot of what I do when I do match plaids. I will lay this on here as if it's sewn, and then I'll go like this, and then I take these out. That's all I do. And then I sort of check things. I go, okay, yeah, that lined up there, and that's all I do. I don't do anything fancy. Just pretend like it's sewn. Pull out the pieces. There's no reason to get lost in the weeds over it if you can avoid it. Okay. All right, so this is left. I don't actually need each of my fronts to be able to do this because it's a two-way or four-way, whatever you call it. I'm just using it because it makes it a lot easier and I'm hungry. So you know how brain power is when that happens. All right, so we'll again line this up as if it's sewn, like that. And then I put the ruler on here with the double the seam allowance here, lined up to that cut edge. I'll line my pattern piece up to that right here. But I don't know why I didn't do this. Let's take time to lay out our fabric here. Make sure it's looking kind of straight. Like that. And then, shoop. There we go. That's all I do. Especially do that for pockets, but sometimes I will print the pocket, if it's a patch pocket, onto vellum, because vellum's a little bit see-through. Do you want to go out there? Here you go. Okay, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. There you go. Okay. He wants to go see Chris. He was all psh, psh, psh. Oh, let's do notches because we keep forgetting those. All right. I feel like those were the hardest pieces to do. And now all we need to do is our underarms. Oh no, we have back panels. Oh. Okay. That's right. Okay, so we need this. All right, we're going to organize some of these pieces here. Front. That's like my favorite song right now. Okay. Watch me get a copyright strike. All right, so I think what we'll do is, like, the way I look at like the pattern matching sometimes is like you're kind of traveling around on the pattern, right? So now we've built the front, and now the underarm will dictate onto the back. So we'll match the here, right? And then we'll match this to this, and then we'll match these two to that. So now, if you're one of those people that's like, oh, my shoulders have to match, well, if you do that, your underarms might not match. And I think the underarms are more important. They're more visible, meaning the side seam, not the underarm, the side seam right here. I have definitely had friendly arguments with people saying that the sleeve and the shoulder seams, side seam, everything can match, and it's mathematically impossible on some prints because all prints aren't the same, right? If this was a small check, if this was a huge plaid, if this was motifs, those motifs could be at different intervals from each other, right? So it is mathematically impossible to always match all those things. So you have to cut yourself some slack and pick what you want. So I'm just gonna go side seam. So all right, so here's my side seam here. I'm not saying it can't be done. I know it can be done, but they got lucky with their print, that's all. And it's awesome when that happens. Like, it's amazing. I've gotten lucky too. It is. It's mathematically impossible. Like, some of them will and some of them won't. And that's just how it is. Especially like, you might be able to on one pattern and then on another pattern you can't. And this pattern could work on some fabrics and not other fabrics, but another pattern could work on this fabric but not other fabrics. Like, pretty hard. Okay, so I'm going with vertical or horizontal matching right now, but I wouldn't mind the, let's overlap it right there. I'm looking at this. Oh, it's a 1 1/4 inch overlap. That's right. So it's something like that. All right, and then let's look at our grain line, lining that up. Okay, that looks good. Thanks for paying attention, Terry. I know this is dragging on this stream. I'm sure people are like, oh my goodness, I went and made dinner and she's still on. I can't leave, she'll know. I won't know, you can totally leave. The weight of my fabric is pulling down there, so it's not as accurate as it could be. Okay, so now the trick is that I've matched my side panel to my front, and I have to do the other side panel. Now, the repeat across, it may not go from side seam to side seam perfectly, right? So if we were to put this one down here and match where that's at, which is like they would be like right here, right? So this is the other thing is like, can you see this center line isn't centered on a motif of the plaid? Like this is a big motif, this gray line, this green line. You'd probably more like it like this, like visually. So you kind of got to give something up then. These two might not join perfectly because this one's in the middle of the green line and this one is at the end of this light line here. So the seam right here is ending on this line up at the yoke seam, and this one is ending at the end of this green thing. So there's like a gap, right? Nice, Susan. Thanks. So I think that at this point you have to look and go, okay, what do I want my center to look like? Especially if you have a pleat. Sometimes that pleat will look kind of wonky if it's not centered on a plaid, and I've done that so many times. So I look at it now, I'm going to go, okay, here we go. Let's make this straight. And we're still on the, let's try and, oh, you want to come in? Come on in, just use your big noggin. Come here. As my neighbor calls it, a coconut head. It really is a coconut head. Okay, so this overlaps right here on this, like right below that line there. So let's get this to overlap right there. I'm going for where it's matching there. So we can get our stripes to match, and we can do it up there as well. Okay, that works. I placed an order with hearts and I felt so bad. Like I saw their stories on them moving and was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I placed an order. And they're like, oh, we're totally open, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't need that, you know. Oh, look at how much fabric I have left, which I think is a ton. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's get that centered. Just kind of looking side to side, doing my best. Here, I'm just going to open the door for you so you can go back and forth. All right. Okay. And now let's lay this one over here. See, if this was one way, I wouldn't be able to do this. Oh. Could I? Oh, I could. Okay. So now when I lay things like this, when I'm like, oh, okay, I can use this. What I'll do is I will weight this down. I'll roll this up under here. Push this down pretty firm. And then I try and take this out. Best I can. Okay, this is the left. This is going to be satisfying as far as the plaid matching goes. sew it. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to cut the yoke now. Okay. Sent the back, sent the back. So glad I already had all that seam allowance with my muslin. That was a gift to my future self. All right, we need to do the yoke though, so now you could opt to not match it intentionally by cutting it on the bias, which is one thing I was considering. Sometimes people will do it the other grain line. So like that would be like, let's see what we think of that, because that could actually look kind of cool. And then we don't have to do any pattern matching. So like, let's see if this was the back. Is this freaking two-way every direction we put it? That's nuts. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Is it really? Whoa. Yeah, I think solids would be a good idea. Oh, I'm not getting away with not matching at all, am I? But we could utilize this fabric here, I think, to better effect. You know? Let's see, is this going to be big enough here? Yeah, okay. So, if this is our fabric, can you see me okay? Okay, you can't see me, I don't care about that though. Okay, we have, this is our, oh no, it is different, look. This is narrower than that, okay. That might be kind of weird then. I may as well do it the other way. Oh well. That's too close. It'll look wrong. Oof, getting nervous on fabric though. So let's check our fabric. Is this another front? Yeah, this is the front. Do we have anything else over here? Yes. Save everything. I know, I'm wondering too if I can do diagonal, but I need to make sure I have enough fabric for that, because look, here's my end. And we still have the sleeves, right? So we're cutting it close, not too close. But let's say that we got lucky and that was our sleeve. So when I do the sleeves, I usually either match the underarm where they join, or you can match the cap of where the yoke is, right? But that just depends on if your yokes are going to be in the same place as each other. So do I, Diane. It's so good. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Julie. Like, so many plaids are really hard. All right, so let me put these pieces away here. Right front, right back. Left back. Okay, we'll just put these aside. Where's my yokes? Gotta make sure we don't toss anything. Center back. Don't see the yolks. It might be on the floor. Hey Bubs, are you getting bored? Here they are. All right. So if I went with, yeah, right? It turns out okay, you know? All right, so if we did that, right? Because remember, this right here is where my cap notch is, but your sleeve isn't, it's not split evenly between front and back. That's why another constraint, right? If your cap notch was in the middle, it'd be a lot easier to do that, you know? I mean, maybe something like that. You know? I think I'm gonna do the underarm. I'm just trying to see my fabric usage right now, right? So that's where that is. So we would need to be way up here, which means coming down a whole another repeat. And I wouldn't cut two at the same time, by the way. All right, so if this is here, right, it would be like that. Okay, so this is earmarked. This is all earmarked. We're gonna pin it off. We're really gonna hope we have enough for everything, right? Okay. Let's do our yokes over here. We have all this still. We still have quite a bit of fabric. We're okay. We're gonna be okay. We can't get one here though, so let's move over here. I could do the inner yoke on the other green. That would be a good idea. Okay, here's our center back. This is the top right here, a notch. And we need a piece this large. I think we're okay over there. I don't think we can go all the way over here. It's really close. So I think we'll go here and we're gonna be okay there. Barely. Barely. All right, and let's see if we can go further down. Right here, maybe right here, maybe. I don't think I should take a chance. Okay. And we'll do my little trick here where I put this ruler there, line it up. Yeah, we're okay there, okay. Yeah, because if we come straight down, we're okay. Phew. All right, get rid of this. Make sure we're straight. And I look at where these points are. So this one's like right above this little line. That one's a little higher. So like that. And then this point is there and there. So let's go like this a little bit. Okay, I think that looks good. I think the next one I make him, he's going to have a bias front placket, a bias back yoke. Okay, one little notch here too. All right, That looks good. Okay, and I think maybe for the inner, I'll use some of this fabric down here. I'm just going to cut the rest of my pieces before I commit to my outer, or my inner yoke, sorry. And I'm just writing inner on this one. That way I know. Yeah, bias everything. Solids, bias everything. This has a hanging loop, I don't want to forget. There we go. Okay, center back. Fronts. All right, what is this? This is a right front. Oh yeah, because I just picked those up. Yep, okay. Phew. All right, I'm gonna cut it there. I'll finish cutting everything out. And hopefully, you know, like the best thing about when you match your plaids is the sewing's really easy because you just match, you just focus on that. You don't have to worry about anything else. And so we'll sew tomorrow and probably get through, I don't know what the order of directions is, but I'll try and stick to the order of the pattern. So thanks for coming, you guys. Thanks for sticking it out. We'll sew part 1 tomorrow and part 2 on Saturday. And later in the month, I'm doing men's pants. And I'm starting with the Wardrobe by Me cargo shorts and making a pants version of that. And I'm doing that because he likes the fit of those. I've fit those on him. I won't be doing cargo pockets on that or the butt patch, obviously. But I will be doing the welt pockets in back. So, and it has a waist facing, not a waistband. So it's kind of unique that way. So yeah, fun times. Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Bye.